dating generally?
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
And why do you believe in dating?
Yeah, I get it. You should get to know each other before getting married, and then you need to mingle with people. Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, do you believe that dating is good?
Yes.
Dating is good.
Yeah.
So if you're saying you need to learn and mingle with each other first, can you not do that without dating and then straight to marriage?
I think that one was done in the olden days. I don't think it relates now in this life. People are very sketchy. You need time to know someone, yeah, because people, Insta life and real life are not the same. So you need to get to the background of a person first before you decide, yeah.
Of course, yes, I believe
If
dating.
yes, what makes it good?
I think the beauty of it, being in love and stuff. Love is beautiful on its own, so dating is good.
Okay, okay. So if dating is good, then how long should you date someone before you get married, or do you commit to each other? Like, okay, we have set for life, even if you don't have to actually be married, but just like, okay, you my partner for life now. How long?
Personally, for me, I think 3 months, 90 day, yeah, 93 months before you could, commit yourself to a person, because in that 3 months, I believe, you should be trying to, learn about that person, get to know that person. The depth of knowing that person can be deeper in the length and or duration of 3 months for me personally.
You know what? I actually agree with you. You don't need that long of time. As long as you search for that person and you actually take time to know them. 3 months, I agree. Actually, 3 months is not bad. Another person said 6 months, so it's quite interesting.
Interesting.
You know?
It is good.
And why do you think so?
Why else would people get married if they didn't date?
Okay, fair enough. Do you think there's a need then for dating if it's about knowing each other? Because you can just skip that part and just know each other and go straight to engagement and
I
marriage.
think dating is where we learn about each other more. Like, we learn about our habits. That's when you decide, with this person, am I going to spend the rest of my life with this person? Because sometimes some people you be like, let's skip. And then later on you find out that, okay, cool, no, this is not it for me as a person. But dating is like, I think it's a foundation for that. Yeah.
Fair enough, okay. Then if dating is good, would you say there is a need for marriage then, in your view?
I mean, why else are we dating?
So for you, are you dating to get married?
I am dating to get married.
Great, okay.
I am.
So if you are dating to get married, how long should you date someone before marriage is, we have to set a date?
I mean, some people say a year, some people say 2 years, some people say 6 months. But for me, I think 2 years, because I stay abreast, so I know that some relationships just don't go as further as people think. So if they say 6 months, what if after that 6 months they are married and then a year after they break up? But if you give it a year or two, you decide that, okay, cool, you know what, I'm ready and set to spend the rest of my life with this person. And I know the person's habits, I know what he does, I know how he behaves now, I can tolerate certain things. But if you take like a small amount of time trying to know the person, it's not gonna be it for you as a person. Because you might settle a lot. Because when you think that I'm gonna get married, you settle. You settle a lot. You be like, okay, cool, we're gonna get married. So it's fine if he shouts a lot or if he screams a lot. It's fine. It's because I'm gonna get married to the guy. But if you give yourself a chance to see that screaming and shouting and maybe sometimes he's maybe a bit aggressive, you can see that early and then decide as a person, am I gonna be able to stay with this kind of person in my life?
Okay. Second, another question. How long should you date for before you get married?
About after shortest time, I think 6 months.
Shortest.
Yes, and then
So
I
what's
think
the longest then?
longest I would say
Not
2 years.
more than 2 years. Yeah,
So-
definitely not. By 1 year, you should know whether this person is the one or
Yes.
not.
And then after that year, you are working towards getting married. It's not a matter of, ooh, is it gonna happen? Ooh, you know.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't waste time. Yeah, no.
You must know that
Yeah.
Mutwa Konali, these are the plans don't keep the person in suspense, because otherwise you might actually lose the person. Like let's say maybe after 2 years, and then maybe in your mind you're planning alone that you still want to propose to the person, but the person's gonna say, Muto, he's not serious. Rather involve them and tell them that my life, this is how it's going, and I would like for us to, yeah.
You share the same sentiment, I see.
Yeah.
We're sisters.
Yes.
Sometimes siblings don't get along.
You must be honest with your intentions, I guess.
What is the use for marriage in the modern era?
In the modern era, marriage.
Like today, 2021, what is the use for marriage?
2021, I don't see the use of marriage, for speaking, because I want to be an independent woman. I don't want to have to depend on a man and have a man by my side. So that people say, oh, she's pretty because there's that guy. Oh, she's successful because there's that guy. You know, the kind of vibe. I don't want that. That's why I'm pursuing my career, which is why marriage is gonna come, but it's gonna come. I'm not looking for it. I don't.
So, would you say it's like a luxury nowadays rather than something you have
oh
to
my
do?
God, it is. Because some people see that they look good with each other on pictures, and they think that's marriage, which is wrong. Looking good on pictures doesn't mean that this guy is good for you or this guy is your soulmate or whatever. People think if I stand next to him and he's like, oh, you guys look cute, and they think, oh my God, okay, this is it. He's my man. We are, that's not it. He doesn't have to look good with you on pictures for him to be the perfect partner for you. He doesn't. So people nowadays take pictures and social media as a way of saying, oh, she's perfect for me. If I break up with her, what are people gonna say? I mean, we look good together. You know that kind of vibe. I'm not for that.
Okay, I appreciate. Okay, another question is: do you think there's still value in marriage?
No, I think it should involve a personality yako when you try to value umshado. It should ubuwena. What are your dreams? Do you want to get married? Do you want kids? Do you want to live the American dream? If you want that, eventually you're gonna value that when you have it.
So you would see it, marriage is that add-on value of you accomplishing your dreams, or in that sense, as in it's a good thing to have a person around like that, like somebody to build.
I mean, in
That's the value in
prison,
it,
the most horrible punishment they could give you is making you be alone. So,
That's a great point. That's a great point, actually. Being
it shows
isolated.
that in life, we were bound to, help have a soulmate.
Do you think it's easier or harder dating in modern times than it was for our grandparents or parents?
Yeah, definitely. Right now it's hard because in the olden days, women used to get married for security. Right now, you marry for love, and of which you don't tolerate any of the things that men do. In the olden days, our grandmas, if they can tell you the stories, the horror stories, they had to stay because first of all, they didn't get any education. So right now we are educated. I have my own house. I have my own car. I don't need a provider. I need someone to build with. So in the olden days, it was security and to get food, basically.
Okay. So you also believe, is it easier or harder to
Not
you?
really. I think in the olden days, people knew their characters. Now, I don't think a man knows what a man's supposed to do. And a woman, we know what we're supposed to do, but the men are not playing their part. So we end up becoming everywhere, we end up becoming everywhere because we have to provide for ourselves, we end up as single mothers. So for me, in the olden days, people knew their characters,
their responsibilities,
and they were doing their responsibilities.
A man's responsibility.
So now,
he was a provider. Right
Now he's not.
No, he's
now,
not.
now
What
you
is
know
it?
what
To
happened.
chase him, go up geld.
Women were saying 50-50 to avoid things such as gender equality, to avoid inequality in the workplaces. But men are now magnifying that to benefit themselves. You understand? The thing of 50-50, it wasn't really about in terms
the
of dating.
household.
It was in terms of equality. But men are now magnifying on that we're going on a date, I'm paying 50% for this. And so now I think our men...
Why is it, do you think that men and women are frustrated with each other in this modern day? Just briefly, from your view, why is there such friction and misunderstanding?
I think, what do I think? I think that some of the things that result to the frustrations may be, childhood experiences, maybe, family oriented things. Maybe my uncle used to hit me a lot, and I don't like men who even duplicate him, not to duplicate
His
Van der Waals.
behavior, basically,
Yeah,
personality type.
exactly.
I get
Or that person may be good, may be a good person just because he looks like the uncle. I can, yeah.
So, if would you say then, can you be, from your view, can you change a man's behavior using sex?
No, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work at all. It doesn't work. Sex comes, but there's knowing each other, spending time together. Sex happens because it's nature.
So how
But
would
sex
you
is
say
not everything.
so how would you say then you can change a man's behavior or influence a man's
You don't
behavior?
change a man. You don't change
You
a
don't
man.
change him.
No, a man decides to change for you. You don't force a man to change for you. You don't do that. He decides on his terms. And okay, this girl is it for me. This girl is the kind of person I wanna be with for the rest of my life. And I feel like if I stop doing this, she's gonna stay with me. The kind of things. He decides on it. You can't change a man. A man is already a man.
Fair enough. Would you say, asking basically the same question, replace man with woman? Do you think a man can change a woman's behavior or influence?
Yeah, a woman learns to love. We women learn to love. So if I met a guy, I'm like, oh, I don't like him, but give me time. You might find out that later on I love you more than you love me. Because we learn to love. We learn to live with a person and love and appreciate the small things. But man, no, when you get there, you have to be it. You don't have to try and change him. He's not gonna want you if he doesn't want you. He's gonna want you if he wants you. But with girls, we can be like, oh, okay, cool. I like the way he speaks. We take it from there.
Okay. Is marriage necessary?
Yes, for me, I think
Yeah,
it's
because-
necessary.
Okay, if yes, then
We are Christian.
okay. So okay,
Yeah.
so okay, on a religious
Uskafeba.
basis, okay, I understand. No, no, that's
On a religious basis, yes, obviously to live in a holy matrimony, and again, in terms of bringing up children, there's a sense of security, whether we like it or not. In a married couple, when you bring up kids have this confidence and this security that sometimes
my dad, my mom, they are both in.
yes.
Yeah,
So there's that security and confidence in children.
if women remain virgins, if all women decided, hey, we are locking shop until marriage, no man is coming between these legs, right? And they all stood together, stood firm. Do you believe that men would improve their behavior, wanting women, and because they can only get it once they get married and be committed? Do you think it will change men's behavior?
I believe so 100%. I believe so because sometimes, if you want something and then you kind of drag to get it, when you have it, you cannot treat it special. You just gonna have to value it,
So if that's the case, don't you think perhaps women should hold each other more accountable for such in order to improve the behavior of men? Since, let's say for argument's sake, men are misbehaving, they're not listening, therefore it looks like, unfortunately, the burden of fixing society is with women.
No, I think that's a stereotype also because not all men are the same, and women don't have to take accountability of anything from a man's behavior. A man behaves the way they behave because they want to, not because you made them to. No, definitely you can't make someone to behave somehow.
Okay, so from your view, you're thinking it would be a good thing if that happened, but it's not necessarily a woman's responsibility then to
Yes.
kind of try and fix that.
I
No, that's
believe
fair.
so. I believe so.
Do you believe in gender roles in relationships?
Yes, I do believe in gender roles in relationships. As much as I've seen people saying, I don't want gender roles, I want all of us to cook, I want all of us to clean. I want him to be the one who calls me first. So ke batla ho nqengua. A ke batla ho nqenga, you know. I want ke batla ho nqengua go motho wa ka, you know. I want to feel.
Okay, then this leads to this question: what are gender roles? Define a gender role for a man in a relationship.
Well, a man, obviously, you have testosterone. Like Rona, we are feminine. Like men are tough. They need to be protectors, and then we feminine. We bring that warmth, and then that can never be switched.
You give us food, I give you a meal, you know.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful answer.